Well, hello there, Gemini. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I am so grateful that you're here. So today we're doing a bonus read just to see what messages Spirit may have for you. We're going to take a look first at the overall energy with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details. And this reading is really good for whenever you find it. And so we'll see if there's some timing that comes out. But it's really good for whenever you find it, and it's good for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So let's take a look at what we have for you today. And that one is popping out. So let's see. Turtle Spirit, slow and steady wins the race, and unknown territory. Okay, Gemini, really interesting. You have crossed over some bridge. You're in a new world, even if you don't actually recognize that you're in a new world, because it's unknown territory. Okay, you are exactly where you need to be. It's almost as if you walked through a portal. Interesting, because today is the summer solstice here in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice. So it's almost as if you walked into this new portal. You've actually begun some new cycle, but it's totally new to you. Like, you may recognize, like, when you're having conversations with people that have been in your life for a long time, all of a sudden it's kind of like something is disconnected, or you're just perceiving the relationship in a different way. It could be even like you're listening to the news on the radio or TV or something like that, and all of a sudden you have like a totally different perspective of what is going on in the world than you ever had before. Like, you're looking at things in a totally new way. And so I feel like it's almost like you're unsteady. You know, it says slow and steady wins the race. It's almost like you're a newborn, unsteady in understanding, like, how did I get to this new way of thinking, or you're just kind of like, it's almost like you're a newborn, which is kind of interesting because I have that a brand new granddaughter, but it's almost as if you are kind of like a newborn, you know, in your mindset, or the way that you're starting to see people, relationships, situations, the world in general, and you're not really sure, you know, like, how do I move forward, or how did I get here? It's almost as if you're kind of like, okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? Yeah, so let's go to the tarot. Let's get some more details about this. We're going to take a look at your present energy. Then we're going to take a look at any areas of resistance or obstacles that are on your path, and then finally advice from Spirit. So let's see what we have here. Yeah. Okay, so underneath, this is really interesting. You have your vibration is rising. I feel like your vibration has risen. Okay, if you're resonating with this, whether you recognize it or not, and I think that's the important thing, right, is that you may not even recognize that the shift has occurred. It's kind of like you could be seeing a lot of like angel numbers, double numbers, synchronicities happening, and you're really kind of like not sure what is going on, right? You could be trying to get these messages, or trying to talk to your guides and angels and get some message, right? Archangel Michael is with you. It's a time for healing. Your hard work is paying off. Like, I feel like you have done a lot of hard work in your healing journey. Yeah, and then you have commitment. Oh my goodness. Staying committed to, this is the Empress energy. Staying committed to stepping into now your Empress energy. Okay, I'm not saying we all have divine masculine and divine feminine within us. I feel like for some time you may have been kind of caught up in your divine masculine. And the reason is you had to push yourself through a certain situation. You've crossed the bridge. You're in this new world, whether you recognize it or not. So it's time to kind of really commit to fostering your Empress energy, your intuition, building that sense of nurturing yourself, creating the world that you really want for yourself. You really have switched from like surviving into a thriving mode. Look at this, you have transformation. After a long time of feeling like your energy is fragmented, it's almost like suddenly things are starting to click for you and you're not really sure why. Well, the reason is that you've been working really hard. You're a time for healing, and then your hard work is paying off, right? Your hard work in healing your own heart, in healing perhaps other people around you. You know, it's taking a different approach. All of a sudden you're recognizing that you've had to shift, or you're sensing this sense of needing. Now, I think you have already done this shifting, whether you realize it or not. And I think that that is the thing they keep saying, is that I feel like you don't even recognize that you have actually stepped into this new world. It's kind of like things are maybe a little bit different and you're not really sure why. Yes, you have the Hermit energy right here. Okay, so your present energy. Put your creative energy into action. Help communicate your vision and motivate yourself to help to create something helpful. It's about understanding you're on the other side of a very difficult time period. Okay. And I don't feel like that was a short time. It was like 5 years. It could have been 15 years, right? It could be back from that 2008 Pluto shift into Capricorn, right? Because you have your hard work is paying off. There's been this energy. Oh my goodness. This is just so amazing that the energy I'm getting with this. It's kind of like, I feel like for so many of you, you could have felt like you were a lone man on an island, or a lone woman on an island, right? The Hermit is sitting there on top of the lighthouse, but just kind of like feeling completely by yourself. Even though you have people around you, there's this energy where your entire life, perhaps, you have felt like you were the odd man out, right? Like you didn't ever really feel like you connected, perhaps even to your family or to your friends. And it doesn't mean that you didn't have people in your life. There was just something missing, right? Well, the thing is that there was so much kind of like going on within your soul evolution. There was this energy of really having to go deep within, understanding that you had to come to this sense of seeing the world in a new perception, a new perspective. So the Hermit energy is about going within, seeing the light within you. You could have been surrounded by a lot of people that didn't see your light, actually tried to dim your light. And now you're on the other side of that. It's almost like you've had this revelation, okay? Oh my goodness. And now I see it. And now I see that it's almost like all the dots connect, almost maybe even instantly, right? It's kind of like, oh, I see it. Okay, I see it now. Understanding that you've been on top of this lighthouse by yourself for some time. Perhaps no one recognizing your light, no one recognizing everything that you bring to a relationship or to a situation. Your love, your creativity, your intelligence, your willingness to compromise, your willingness to be compassionate. The sense of trying, because you're a mutable sign, trying to have things work out. And now all of a sudden you realize, it could be that you feel like no one has been there for you. You may have been there for a lot of people in your life, but no one has been there for you. And now you're understanding that part of your healing process was being there for yourself. Understanding that it's not about seeking people that can help us to care for ourselves, right? It's not about finding people that will care for us. It's about caring for ourselves. And in that, you attract other people that also care about you. Wow, it's a beautiful energy here. For some of you, you may be healing abandonment issues. you know, feeling perhaps that you were always invisible, even, you know, even as a child or as an adult in your workspace, almost like invisible, like nobody saw you for who you are or what you have to bring to the table. Yeah, and it's time to release negativity. It's time to have this courage to understand that it is truly about shining your light and shining it proudly. I feel like you've been kind of like set into this energy of just even dimming your own light in a way, because your light, no one else around you was recognizing your light. You may have had somebody really special in your life. Like for me, it was my grandmother. Like she recognized something in me that no one else in my life seemed to recognize, right? And I feel like it's that energy where all of a sudden you realize that part of it was you had to recognize your own light. You could have spent your entire life trying to please other people, trying to get them to recognize your light, or trying to validate your light, trying to give you the courage to even shine your light brighter. And yet at the same time, all you needed, it's almost like Dorothy, where all she had to do was tap her heels 3 times, right, to go home. It's almost like you recognize that the whole time you have been trying to have other people recognize what it is in you that you were having trouble recognizing in yourself. It's almost like you wanted that validation, and now it's kind of like, yeah, this is all balancing out for you. You're willing to take action now without necessarily seeing how the way forward. You know, the moon card is the divine working behind the scenes to bring in this sense of, I feel like all of a sudden you're getting this communication, okay, perhaps from the spirit realm, okay, about how, like this justice of, yes, your light is bright. Your light is shining. It's time for you to believe in yourself. I think that's how it is. And this is why you feel unsteady in this, right? Because you're switching your entire perspective of life. Instead of hoping other people will see your light, you're recognizing. It's almost like you're looking in a mirror and you're saying, oh my goodness, I see the light in myself. I see the love. I see the creativity, the intelligence. I see everything that I love about myself. I finally see it, like maybe for the very first time. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's take a look at your area of resistance or your obstacle. You have the Ascended Masters here. You know, the Ascended Masters are people that have walked on this earth, right? And are no longer here, but are working with those of us on earth, in Earth School, right? To kind of like work through a certain situation or to really step into your purpose. Now, it's in your obstacle. It means that they're trying to work with you, but you may be kind of like not able to actually kind of hear or recognize what they're trying to say. This is unknown territory for you because you're stepping into something new. I think some of you are having a major like level rising in your spiritual awareness, or perhaps are awakening, okay? Or some of you may be just truly like stepping into your purpose. Like all of a sudden it's kind of like your job doesn't resonate at all with you anymore, and you're kind of like, okay, I have to go in this new direction, but you're not really sure where that is. It's about taking those slow steps and taking your time. So Gemini, I think that may be a little bit challenging, right? Because you like to be spontaneous, make quick decisions, go in a new way. You're being asked to really kind of like listen, spend time in nature, you know, meditating, you know, or just kind of like putting your energy into anything creative. Okay. Now here's the thing about creativity is that it really helps us to tap into our intuition, whether that is through, art or music or dancing or whatever. When we really connect to our creativity and create, not to produce something, okay, but just for the pure joy of it, the bliss of it, okay, that's when we can tap into our intuition and get some of this information, okay, that the ascended masters, your ascended masters, are trying to relay to you, because you have this communication. It's almost like in the dark, all of a sudden you get this. It could be in your sleep time, right? That you're getting some downloads, trying to bring this balance. I feel like for some of you, you are also kind of like this is interesting, stepping into perhaps meeting someone, okay, that is a true soul connection after a very long time of being by yourself. Okay. And Gemini, I know, reading your comments, you're kind of like, yeah, not too concerned about love, right? Geminis are very self-reliant. They don't need somebody. They may want somebody in their life, but they don't need somebody, right? And I feel as though there is somebody that is really trying to come onto your path. Okay. Both of these are very creative, action-oriented, attractive, but they're also spiritual leaders. And I feel like you're finding your counterpart. Finally, after a very long time of just feeling like there's no one in this world that really and truly gets me. You could have been married. You could be married, right? You could have children. You could have lovely relationships with friends and family, but you feel like down deep, nobody gets you. The reason is because you maybe didn't get you. It's kind of like all of a sudden, I feel like it's all of a sudden, seriously, it's like the dots are connected for you and you see yourself for the very first time. Wow. It's really interesting. Pray from the heart. Okay. So once again, there's spirit realms. There are your guides, your angels are trying to communicate with you. Take time. Try to reach out, speak out loud to them, walk in nature. Just try to quiet your mind so that you can tap into that wisdom and meditate and contemplate. Yeah. Because the Three of Pentacles, they're trying to bring this together for you. In fact, I really feel like for some of you, it's almost like a new soul community, a soul tribe. This has been kind of like coming in and out of your readings for over 6 months, I think. Just this energy of coming together with some other people. I feel actually like you are going to be the leader for some type of community. Whether you're starting your own business, but you have some kind of community base with it, or you're volunteering, starting some type of a charity. There's something here where you're kind of recognizing. I think, for some of you, you are kind of seeing the world or a certain situation in the world, okay? And that's going to be different for everybody depending on your purpose. But all of a sudden you see it so clearly, like how you can possibly help this situation. And some of you may be kind of like, I want to keep these out. Some of you may be kind of like, yes, but I don't know. That's a lot of work, or, I don't know even how to get started. I feel like somebody else, it's almost like you come into a counterpart, somebody else that says like the two of you are a perfect match and can get things done when the two of you come together. So, a skill that you may be lacking, they have. A talent that they're lacking, you have. It's almost like you're a perfect fit for each other. It's not a perfect match. It's a perfect fit for each other. Really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, moving on. You are moving on. Oh my goodness. This is because you have the Three of Swords, okay, and the Knight of Swords. You are moving on from this energy of feeling like you are alone, a lone wolf. This energy of just feeling nobody gets me. Even though you may have put so much effort into some of your relationships, trying to find that bond, okay, alignment with somebody else or a group of people. You may have put a lot of time and energy into it. You're finally moving on from it. And in that, okay, you are finding this happiness, this happy family, happy home, building new memories. But you have to allow yourself, give yourself the permission to move away from what you have known, because you are moving into unknown territory. It's not about trying to recreate something that you've had in the past or a dream that you had for yourself in the past. That's the difficult part, right? Is saying, okay, I'm allowing myself to let go of that dream or trying to create something, okay, that is really beautiful or that you wanted to have beautiful, okay? Something from the past that was your happy family, happy home. You're moving into unknown territory, and your guides are saying it's okay if you go slow. Gemini, you're so quick, right? You're so quick on your feet and everything else. It's kind of like, go slow, because if you go slow, okay, your ego won't take over and have you retreat back to what you've had in the past. It's like, go slow and just feel your way through this. This is about tapping into your intuition, listening to your guides, just taking with the Moon card, one step at a time. You know, the Moon card is interesting because your guides know if you could see the whole entire path, you wouldn't step onto the path. They only illuminate one little part at a time, right? So listen, tap into your intuition. Just take the one next step that they are offering to you and know that it is on the way. It is leading you to this spectacular energy, okay? Spectacular. Because it is this, you are good enough, taking steps, be the real you. This is the thing. I feel like your entire life, you have had to align or attune yourself to other people. You have not been in situations, perhaps since childhood, where people aligned or attuned themselves to you, okay? Or tried to. There wasn't a balance in that, right? There was no balance. It's finding this balance for the very first time in a counterpart of some sort. And it could be romantic, but it doesn't have to be, okay? You're finding this alignment, something that is completely different than anything you have ever experienced before. You may have thought that you've had something like this or what, you know, but this is new. This is somebody that comes in, that sees you for who you are, that cherishes you for who you are, that doesn't want to change you, that doesn't want you to be a contortionist and change yourself for them. They want you to be who you really are. They want you to be the real you. And they're going to be very encouraging for you to continue to take steps towards stepping into this energy of truly being in alignment with who you are and who you want to become, right? That sense of making progress. And at the same time, I feel like you're going to be the same kind of counterpart for them. I think they've been on a very similar journey. It's kind of like the two of you meet and it's like, oh my goodness, like, yes, I've been waiting for you my whole entire life, right? Because the Four of Cups is an interesting energy of having people and situations in your life that really, they may not be bad, but they're just ho-hum. There's just kind of boring. You may feel like you could enjoy, because Gemini, you're very social. You could be enjoying the company of somebody, but you never feel like you can be the true you. So this is kind of interesting, because the Four of Cups in the traditional tarot, there's 3 cups on the ground, and a 4th cup is coming in from the universe, right? It's like finally the cup that you have been waiting for is arriving, is coming in, is here for you. So let's take a look at this. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yes, definitely ending a final cycle. It is an energy of manifesting what your heart truly desires. You know, it could be that for a long time you were kind of like desiring a romantic partner, or desiring this a special connection of some sort, someone that really got you. And you could have just gotten to the point where you thought, you know, that's just never going to happen for me, not in this lifetime. I'm not going to have that experience. And you could have gotten into this energy of just feeling like, yeah, this is about as good as it's going to get, right? And then there's something that kind of, this portal that you walk into, where you all of a sudden realize, I don't want it to just be ho-hum. This relationship that I'm in is ho-hum. This career that I'm in is ho-hum, right? I don't want ho-hum. All of a sudden, it's like you recognize, I don't want ho-hum. You may have gotten into the pattern or the habit almost of being okay or content with ho-hum. And now all of a sudden you're like, no, I'm manifesting. I'm going after what my heart truly desires. My heart truly desires to have a connection with someone that sees me for who I am, that cherishes me for the real me, not the real me that is a version of what other people want. Oh my goodness. Okay, Gemini, I'm also getting a message. Some of you may be going through kind of a little bit of a, I'm not going to call it a true dark night of the soul, but a little bit of this energy of looking back at the past, at perhaps a previous version of yourself, okay? And having a little bit of perhaps guilt or shame, regret, some energy, okay, that you wish you had done something different. You had made a different choice, right? Okay, so the message that I'm getting is that there is no wrong choice, right? There is no wrong choice. And instead, in order to find this new perspective, is to take a look at a choice that maybe you made in the past, okay? Or a previous version of yourself, because I feel like you really perhaps have changed, have had this awakening. You know, you're on the other side, right? You see yourself differently than what you were in the past. So I feel like you're kind of reminiscing a little bit about how you were in the past, and just feeling like karma is not on your side. You may feel like, yes, I did that. Looking back, you wish you hadn't made that choice or acted in that way, or whatever it is. So you may feel a little bit like karma's not on my side, right? The truth is that you cleared out any bad karma that you may have had. Your hard work in doing the healing that you have done to get to this point, right? To progress to this point is coming into play to bring you in this, you know, beautiful such situation of financial security, stability, happy family, happy home. Something that maybe you have been seeking your entire life. Okay, so one of the things that they're coming back to say is that before you move on, or if you're having trouble moving on, having trouble closing out this cycle, okay, is to ask yourself, okay, what did I learn in that previous situation? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about the world? What did I learn about what I don't want to experience? It's about taking a look at that and perhaps writing down, right, what it is that you don't want to experience again. What was it in your toxic relationships that you don't want to experience again? How will you recognize when you are in a toxic relationship? What were some of those patterns, those behaviors, those red flags that you may have dismissed a little bit because you just thought, well, that's just the way this person is, or that's the way romantic relationships are, or family is, right? It's about taking just a moment here to recognize what have you learned, because you are the hermit. You gained all this wisdom, but it could be that this is a good time to kind of like take just a minute and recognize what you truly have learned so that you do not experience it again. So that when it comes back up, when you have a situation that comes up, you recognize the red flag right away. You don't go any further in that relationship, right? Or you recognize it in yourself. Oh, wait a minute. This is a pattern of behavior or thinking that I have had in the past. I'm not doing that again. It's almost as if you have to kind of ingrain this in yourself because you're in unknown territory. And when you're in unknown territory, your ego is going to try to kind of like get you to go back to something that is familiar, because unknown is unfamiliar. Your ego doesn't like that. So it's going to play these games with you. I would actually kind of like write those things down. Where have you been overgiving, overworking in situations where people have not been, perhaps in work, perhaps in family, right? Where you have not received on your end what you have put into it. How can you recognize it? It's not just saying, I don't want that anymore, right? It's how are you going to recognize when that is occurring? What were some of those red flags, okay, that came up that you may have dismissed because you're a loving Gemini? You're very mutable and you're like, okay, that's all right. But now recognizing, oh, wait a minute, that is something that I wish I had the experience to recognize is a difficult situation. And that's why if you're having these feelings of like shame or guilt or regret about something in the past, it's about taking a look at that and saying, okay, this is a good place for me to start. Right? If you're saying, I wish I had not gotten into that relationship, what were some of the key red flags at the time, right, that you allowed yourself to dismiss, to not look at, right? Or to excuse away, that now you can say, oh, wait a minute. Yes. That now I know that when I see that, when I come into that, I'm not going to excuse it because I have healthier boundaries, but I'm also going to kind of like, you know, either have a conversation with that person or I'm leaving that situation. Because now you are wiser, you are more experienced, and you are going to be able to go into this new territory. It's kind of like almost like you have built those healthy boundaries. You see the value in yourself and you are moving forward, protecting who you are. Yeah, this is a true transformation that's leading you to something really big, really big. Wow. And I think for some of you, finally coming across some type of relationship where, you know, it could be a business relationship where you and this business partner just click. And it's kind of like, okay, let's go build this business, right? Or a charity, nonprofit, whatever it is, right? Or it could be a romantic partner where it's, yes, you know, we have work to do. For some of you, this is a twin flame card, so you could have a twin flame coming in a true twin flame, or perhaps if you're separated from your twin flame, perhaps you're both being activated at this time to do the work that you have been called to do. All right, well, Gemini, let's do your soul truth card. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. All right, what excuses am I making right now? Oh, that is so interesting. Yeah, no more waiting. There will never be a good enough time. The time is now. If it's important enough to you, you will find a way. Today, make a decision and do it, even if you don't feel ready. Listen to your heart. You will be led. And, you know, that is exactly what this is about, is that you are being led. It's almost as if you're like, well, I'm not really sure, you know. I'm not really sure. Am I ready to move on? Have I really closed out this relationship? I think I have. I think you have, and I think that you are on the other side of it. It's almost as if, Gemini, you have to say to yourself, I am on the other side, right? Okay, write down, if you're having a hard time saying you are on the other side, write down all the lessons that you have learned, all the experiences you are not going to have anymore, right? Think about that. What experiences do you not want to have anymore? And then how are you going to know if you're walking into one of those experiences? Taking a look at what were those red flags, right? What were those moments where you were kind of like, oh, I'll give them a pass on that. Or, oh, they're just having a bad day, right? Yeah. You know, I mean, there is something about grace. But it's kind of like if you have a situation in your life where you keep giving it excuses, right? Allowing excuses to excuse somebody else's behavior, okay, or actions. And that can be in the workplace. That could be your boss, right? That could be, you know, the people that you work with. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. But if you're constantly finding excuses for somebody else, you're probably also allowing yourself to have excuses. Somebody is holding you back because you're giving them excuses, which gives you an excuse to not move forward and shine your light brightly. Think of it that way. Okay, no more excuses. I absolutely love this reading for you, Gemini. All right, I am going to leave it there. I really do appreciate all of your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I wish you so much love and light. Bye for now.